russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. You know, and it's interesting too, Stevie, because again, freaking Triple H's quotes, some of the shit he drops, like he was asked this week, you guys, about, well, bro, how do you feel about, you know, all your guys on top are like in their mid to late 40s. Like, how do you feel about that? And he made the comment about, well, we've got such a rich, you know, roster, and you know, a lot of young guys on the right on the roster. I swear to God, Ben and Stevie. Okay, Triple H, when do you decide to start getting these guys over? I mean, all these young guys, bro. We can look at every guy when they started and where they are now. And there's no move. Look at R.D. McDonough. From the day he started to where he is now, no movement. We saw Carmelo Hayes last night. From where he is to where he is now, no movement. Bro, when they brought Finn Balor in the first week, he won the heavyweight title. Look at where he is now. You've done nothing. You've done nothing with these so-called young guys that are the future. Gunther was way over more when he had the streak. So, okay, bro, you've got this great young roster. At what point, Stevie, do we make the decision? You know, maybe it's time to start getting these young guys over. Like, bro, keep your freaking mouth shut, because you sound like a moron. Bro, I've written 10 shows for JCW, and in those 10 shows, I've gotten guys more over in 10 shows than literally they have in 5-10 years.
Well, I want to say this. You need to be patient, because these guys in their 40s, they're about 5 to 10 years from crotch chopping and squashing the Spirit Squad. We got to be patient with that. You're right, though, that we thought when we started the show, we're going on 11 years, I think, January 3rd. And thank God we might not have to review the show in January anymore. But what I'm looking at is, we were talking and sounding the alarm back then at the very beginning of this show about, you better start getting people over, because this pipeline is not, now we are at the end of life, no pun intended, of all these characters. Physically, we see what Penta and other people, freak injuries are on the rise for some ungodly reason. I don't even know what it is. So if you think Penta, who's much younger, I think he's in his 30s, you don't think these guys in their 40s are going to start popping out shoulders, blowing out knees, especially when you introduce certain things to lose body fat and build muscle as you get older? That's not, no matter what the Beautiful Day music video says, you can't gain 40 to 60 pounds of muscle after a blown out quad.
Yeah.
What say you, Van? Vince.
Yeah.
Somebody say drugs.
This opening segment bombed so hard, I was waiting for Tim McVeigh to run in. Rim shot.
Yeah.
As an Oklahoma City, been through enough.
God, that was so freaking bad. I would never put talent in a spot like that, where, like, bro, there's nothing. This is their easiest time, because everything is a brawl. That's all they got. Everything ends in a brawl. We got WarGames, so everybody's gonna brawl. You talk about being on cruise control. How do you give 3 guys like that a promo with no meat, no action, nothing, been absolutely empty?
How do 25-year veterans not go, this has nothing, this is empty, this is not what we're doing?
I agree.
So they're mailing it in and just being given garbage. Even the midget spots done wrong, the midget got over. He told the babyface line and told Dominic to get bent. So, like, it wasn't like they were like the satire part of the Cena thing. He stood up for him, which I was just like, okay, here we are. So,
and the crowd was surprisingly dead. There was no heat to that at the end. It was really, really quiet,
because they wanted to see Cena because they know it's a thing. So instead, you got just the crowd just got burned. You know what I mean? Unless Cena comes out from underneath the ring, kicks Dom's ass, and puts the midget on his shoulder, and they both pose down. But like they just robbed the crowd of a spot and ripped them.
If you are writing for these people, forget about it. You wouldn't even know how to. There's no way to write for those people, bro, because they're there as audience participation. That's the only thing they're for. They're into their own thing, whatever they're doing. You've got millions and millions and millions of people at home that no longer watch it because of this. So regardless of what they do, you got to concentrate on those people at home that are normal people that are still going to watch this show. Because my God, bro, like if you're writing for today's wrestling crowd, there's no way you're going to win that. It's that they're doing their own thing. They're paying a price to participate in the show. And if that's what's going to lead your direction, I don't know where you're going.
I don't know. It's interesting you say that because, you wrote for big crowds kind of out of the gate, and now you're seeing the JCW hardcores and what they want to be as the fourth man in the ring. 2CW specializes in that based off of being fanatical ECW guys. So if you have that they want to be a part of the show, you can take that away from them and then give it to them when it's their biggest point, and they'll be double endeared to you. Not to say WWE knows what they're doing with that or how to do it on that level, but you do have an opportunity to do something like the Fago stuff, or you know what I mean? There's opportunities to really like, this is where you're empowered. We need you here in the Sandman entrance or whatever it is.
Right. But what I'm saying, Ben, is you can't cater to that. You
pick one spot to make them feel like
absolutely 1000%, but you can't cater with that with everything you do. Forget it, bro. Like I don't even know how you would attempt that.
That we got people standing in two straight lines facing off while one cuts a promo and the other cuts a promo terribly back and forth.
And you
That's
got
the worst thing you can do.
And you got a freaking 90 pound cutting up. Who is AJ Lee gonna beat up in the real world?
Yeah, it's complete bullshit.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I'm looking at it. I'm like, who would you beat in a real freaking fight?
It comes down to, well, she's the best talker, so let her do it. Like, no, none of this is real. And if you're doing war, you don't just stand across from each other like a Revolutionary War. Ready, aim, fire. Like, dude, let's do some guerrilla warfare on the nights beforehand instead of let's line up. We'll all square off. Everybody throw shitty punches. Like they run it back again. There's nothing in this show that makes anybody go, wow, they really want to go to war. And then on SmackDown, the sit down with Rhea and Charlotte, like the cinematic scene of them trying to act, it's just unbelievable how little effort and how little quality when they really need to step up that they can't deliver. They can't deliver live in ring. They can't deliver in pre-tape at all. Really, the only thing I look forward to is the Kabuki Warriors. That's it.
Kind of spraying mist in somebody's face and then running away.
Kind of, yeah.
Stevie, let me ask you a question to get your opinion on this. Would they dare have Cena lose his last two matches on the way out?
Well, Cena might want to lose matches on the way out. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if any opponent outside of a mysterious Chris Jericho entrance with somebody injured or somebody filling in, I don't see the way the tournament's going where unless he's putting somebody over to pass the torch, which, by the way, the Triple H will pee on that torch 3 weeks later and snuff it out because it doesn't matter. I was going to say, too, this Survivor Series formula, all the formulas need to be thrown out the window. Way too predictable. They're just rerunning. We talked about it. Rewriting a year. Maybe they do write it a year in advance because it's the same exact calendar storylines. I used to like the fact, because I was thinking about Survivor Series when I was growing up, I liked the fact that we got to see people team up that normally weren't in the same hemisphere as each other.
Right.
They've already done it.
And what the formula was then, Stevie, I hate to cut you off, but that's what the formula was. These guys were in separate angles. They were all in separate angles. Then you put them together as a team against the other team with the guys they were in angles with. That was the formula, bro. So you had all these angles, and now that's why you wanted to see it. We're just throwing people together here. There are no angles between these people, Ben.
No, there's no subplot storylines that are worth following with anybody that has any emotion or is chasing a belt or has been screwed over. So when they go in there and finally get to tag in, oh, these guys, boom, boom, throwing at each other. They finally got to tear each other down. So, and that's basic writing 101, and we can't even get any of that. It's, do you trust me on your team? Oh, I helped make these girls. And it's just like, oh my God, they're talking.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I was going to say, it stood out to me, and this is something you can say it's funny or whatever, but it's so telling about the two guys that are running this company, the Shawn Michaels hat and hug from NXT and then Triple H. There was a spot, you guys know exactly what I'm going to say. Mike Knox comes in, does something like Kelly is kind of like flirting with Triple H. Mike Knox turns around, takes Shawn Michaels super kick. 1, 2, 3. Shawn gets up, and Hunter and Shawn are both asking, who was that? Who was that? These are the guys trying to get talent over. They never leaves the guys like this.